It's working already.
I'm sorry.
Restream.
Oh, I got it.
Perfect.
Oh, that's,
Yeah.
Thank you.
no, that's going to go.
Okay, thank you.
Especially today.
Can update the titles now, yeah?
Yes.
What happened?
The specific live stream codes were removed from each recurring event, possibly due to an update in the Zoom international system.
So are we gonna have another problem after, or everything's
Yes.
updated?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
We're gonna have a problem.
We're gonna have a problem, but I'm gonna update those on my laptop.
So what's going on? Why am I not getting in over here? Why is that not going?
Refresh.
Oh, what?
Go to Zoom
It's not getting.
again. Minimize everything. Yep.
Okay.
Let me check if you're on YouTube.
Yeah, it says on Restream. Yeah? We're
Yes.
good? Okay, excellent. Okay.
Okay.
Let's
I'm gonna update the rest of the meetings from myself.
okay. Do whatchamacallit, Tanya's coming next, so that's
Yeah.
okay. Sorry for the delay, folks. We were having some challenges. And thanks, Amit. We met the challenges. Okay. Chumash Rashi. We are let people in, please. Let them know that we are. Oops. Okay. Parshas Tzav. Second reading. Second Torah portion of the book of Leviticus. We are chapter 6, verse number 12. Yidaber Hashem al Moshe Lemar, and Hashem spoke to Moshe, saying, Zeh Karban Aaron, this is the offering of Aaron, Uvanav and his sons, Asher Yakrivu Hashem, that they will bring as an offering to God. B'yom Himashech, in the day that they become inaugurated. Right? And which is the day they become inaugurated? It'll be the first of Rosh Chodesh Nisan, exactly. We're saying the Nasi now for that, right? And which will be actually in next week's Torah portion. Yeah, V'yami Mashachos, in the day that he was anointed, Asirus Ha'efa, a tenth of an ephah of Selis, fine wheat flour, Mincha, a grain offering, Tomid, that is perpetual, Machatzitza B'Aboker, Machatzitza B'Erev, half of it in the morning and half of it in the afternoon. Rashi in 12, or 13 rather. This is the offering of Aaron and his sons. The common kayin too. Also bring a tenth of an ephah. Aaron is the high priest, and his sons are regular kohanim. They all bring a tenth of an ephah of the meal offering. The day that they become initiated for the temple service, Rosh Chodesh Nisan. On Aval Kayin Gadol b'chol yom. But the Kayin Gadol brings this offering every single day. Shenemar says Mincha Tamid, as it says that it was a meal offering that was continuous, right? Even though it's speaking here in reference to the day of inauguration, well, that's not a continuous thing, but it is continuous for the Kohen Gadol, for the high priest, but not for the regular Kohen. That the Kohen from among his sons were anointed in his place in eternal decree. So why does it say? The sons of Aaron? Because the sons of Aaron are going to be the ones who will succeed from him, right? So it means for all generations, the successors of Aaron, which will be, of course, first generation will be his son, which was Elazar, as a matter of fact, after he passed away. Okay, 14. Al machvas vashemen te'aseh. So it must be made on a machvas, which is a shallow frying pan, b'shemen, with oil taseh, that you should make it. And it should be more bekis. More beches means it's scalded in water to Vienna.
That's how they make bagels.
Right, exactly. This is the original bagel maker, except it was kosher lepesach. Right, so on this frying pan, being scalded in water, and then to fena mincha, then it should be baked. Right, it's got to be baked. Pitim takrib, a grain offering of broken pieces you shall bring. This is a pleasing fragrance to God. Rashi, yeah, everybody, we're on the same page, I hope. I hope we're learning the same thing, not different things.
14 Rashi.
14 Rashi. Mur beches. This means chaluta beroitzchi, that it's scalded with boiling water. That's what this word means. Kol tzarka, all of it, whatever is necessary.
So what does that mean? The body water is thrown on it.
No, it's put into boiling water. I don't know exactly.
You ever seen them make bagels?
Okay. Thank you.
No? You ever see them make bagels at St. Peter?
No,
You ever seen them make bagels at St. Peter?
of course not. It's not kosher.
But I mean, you've seen them.
To
It's not like
To fine, let's continue. To fine is afuya harbe, baked many times. L'achar chalitosa, after it's scalding. Oife betoner, you bake it in the oven. V'chezer umitagne bechavis. Then you fry it on the pan. So it's a 3-part process over here. First scalding water. Then you put it into the oven, and then you put it on the frying pan with the oil, and then make it, complete it that way. Minchas pitim, it's an offering, a meal offering of crumbs. Malamid shetu'una psisa, this teaches it needs crumbling. Lo psisa mamish, but not actual crumbling. Pitzim pirurim, pieces and crumbs. Fishe'ena nikmetzes, because since it's not subject to scooping, ela koifla lishnayim, but rather you fold it into 2. V'chayz v'koifla la'arba, and then you fold it into 4. Shesi v'ariv, and vertically and horizontally. Ve'ena mavdil, and you don't separate it into pieces. V'chein makdil le'ishim, and so you make it go up in smoke on the altar. Not exactly clear on that process.
what is the consistency of the is it crisp? I'm wondering. Is it crisp or it's all crisp? Is it like matzo? Or can you bend it?
You know what? I don't have a clarity over here exactly, but I mean, you're folding it, right?
Yeah.
And that's why it's in pieces, because of the folds.
But it doesn't say you're breaking it.
Right. I'm not clear on that. Okay. Okay. 15. Ba'akaina Mashiach Tachta. And the kohen that is anointed tachtav among his sons, underneath him from his sons, Yasa Oisa, he should do it, Chak Olam, it's an eternal statute, La Hashem, for God, Kolil Taktir. It is all burnt up, it's burnt up and smoked up.
What's the difference between the other one?
Thank you. Leave that. Thank you.
Oh, Chinese. Come on.
This isn't grain offering.
Hmm?
This grain offering?
Well, it's from grain, right?
They said already that you spend it, so I have to do it.
Yeah, let's see Rashi. Mashiach tachtav mibanav. Mashiach, the anointed one mibanav from amongst his sons, tachtav in his stead. So the Gemara explains that if a Kohen Gadol dies, the high priest dies, and his successor has not yet been appointed, his sons bring the daily offering of the Kohen Gadol. That's what this is talking about. Okay, kolil taktir causes it to go up and smoke in its entirety. Vein nikmetzes, and there's no scooping over here. When you scoop, you're only bringing the scoop on the altar, right?
Yeah.
But here, there's no scooping. The whole thing goes on the altar. And remember, this is the Kohen Gadol's daily offering, the high priest's daily offering, right? The remainder of it being eaten, the meal offering by non-Kohanim. Ella kolil kulo, right? Rather, the whole thing is burnt up. And likewise, next verse.
Right?
Yes.
It says, the anointed one of his sons who succeeds him. It's
Huh?
not necessarily the oldest son. Is the succession by age? Because it specifically says one of the sons.
It would go by age, but also by fitting, how fitting. If the oldest one is not fitting for the position, then he won't get the position.
Okay.
But he would be the first
By default.
by the first choice if he's fitting.
Telling about Rabbi, first the milk young.
Yeah, don't make sure you don't eat it with milk. Eggs cannot be eaten with milk because it's made on a fleishik. Tell them in French. Chocolate milk is made. Oh no, that's parva. That's parva, right?
Yeah. I hope these cookies also, I don't know what they're cooking.
Now, don't explain to me. Yeah.
Already told you.
Okay. Okay. 16. Every grain offering brought by the kohen on his own behalf has to be wholly burnt and should not be eaten. Rashi kalil kula shavala. All of it is equally offered to God. Right? This is when the kohen brings, so all of it is consumed. Okay, we finished with that. Now we go to the next. Hashem spoke to Moshe saying, verse number 18, David Alaron speak Taran to his sons, Lamar saying, this is the law of the chatas, the sin offering. It should be in the place where you slaughter the oila. Sorry, I'm sorry to interrupt. Okay, let's okay. In the place where you offer the oila tishachid al chatas, that's where you should slaughter the chatas. Lifnei Hashem, before God, Kodesh Kodashim, who? He. It is holy of holies, superior holiness it has. Right? So it's in the north side. Right? That's where the oil chatas. This is the north side. This is where it's slaughtered over here. Okay. 19. The kohen who is fit to offer this sin offering, Yochlen b'makom kadosh. He should eat it in a holy place. The achel, the chatzar oyel ma'id, which is in the courtyard of the tent of meeting. Right? He's bringing a Jew is bringing a sin offering for doing something inadvertently wrong, and brings a sin offering. So part of it is put on the altar, and part of it is eaten by the kohen. 19. Yes. That he makes it into a sin offering. He performs its service. It becomes a sin offering through his agency.
Shasuka tomorrow, Rabbi. Say it to everybody.
Yeah, you just said it. The one who makes a sin offering should eat it. Someone who's fit to make the service. Yeah, you'd say Tommy. Exclude someone who's impure. Bishaz azrikas dami. The time of sprinkling the blood. She'ina chaylik b'bosei. He doesn't take a share in the flesh of the offering. And it's impossible to say. That this verse is forbidding the rest of the Kohanim from eating it, other than the one who sprinkles its blood, because it says later, that every male among the Kohanim shall eat it. So it means anybody who's fit to eat it can eat from this. Which means someone who's impure is someone who cannot eat from it. Okay, 20. Any food that touches its meat, right, of this offering, yikdash, it becomes holy. Midama al beged, so if any of its blood goes spurts on a garment, you have to wash the area of the garment where it was spurted on in a holy place. Rashi, let's see on this. So whoever touches its meat, kol davar oichel asher yiga yivla mimenu. So any food that touches and absorbs from its flavor of this sacrifice, yigdash kamayu, it becomes like a sacrifice, becomes invalid because it absorbs from it and becomes invalid. If the food is, if what it was touching it was invalid, so it too becomes invalid. And if it was valid, then that what it touches has the same restrictions as a sacrifice. Okay, Asher Yiza Midama Allah Begin. So if you've been sprinkled with blood on the clothing, Allah Begin, wherever that blood is, on the garment, which it was sprinkled on the garment, you have to launder it. In the courtyard, right? Asher it said because it had to be holy. Asher Yizeh, that is sprinkled. Yenizeh will be sprinkled. Kamaylayita la'aretz minilam. Notui. Okay. Next verse. Kli cheres, and an earthenware vessel. Asher tevushal boy, that would be cooked boy with it, meaning, well, we'll see. Rashi says, "Yishaver, it should be broken." And if it was with a copper vessel, you cooked, then it must be purged, and rinsed with water. Right. It could be kosher. So the earthenware is not kosher, and the metal is kosher, the metal, the copper vessel. Rashi, 20 Yishavar must be broken, because it's absorbed, Sheniblas boy, so it absorbed meat juices, nas and nicer, becomes nicer.
Okay. Okay.
So it is absorbed with meat juices, it becomes nicer. The same law applies to all of the holies offerings, that if it's in an earthenware vessel, it becomes invalid and needs to be broken. It should be now a copper should be scoured. Lashon tamruke anashim. It's a cosmetic of women, and in Old French, it's escorer. Mayrak v'shuta. It should be scoured and rinsed. The floyd is also to expel its absorption of a kli cheres, but an earthenware vessel. The verse comes to teach you here that it doesn't, the defect that goes into the walls of the earthenware vessel does not come out, and therefore the only way you can fix it is by breaking it. Okay. 22. Kol zochar b'kohanim, all males of the kohanim, they should eat from it. It is holy of holies. And we're talking here about the sin offering, right? So they all have a portion, every male kohen. Rashi calls this teaches us the one who makes a sin offering, we mentioned earlier, is not meant to exclude the other kohanim. But it excludes someone who's unfit to do the particular performance of the service. Right? In other words, you have to be pure yourself to do it, but it doesn't exclude that other kohanim that did not partake in the particular service don't get a share of the sacrifice.
So the one who brings the offering can't eat it.
No, the one who brings it is the sinner.
And he can't eat it.
He can't eat it. We're talking about kohanim eat it. The question is it's one kohen who's taking the animal and taking the blood, putting it on the altar, putting the pieces of meat on the altar, right?
Yeah.
So is he the only one who eats from it? That's the question, right? So before we said that the one who does it eats from it, but now we're saying all males eat from it. So what does it mean? What does it mean? That's the question. So what it means is that it wasn't to exclude, it was only to exclude someone who is only fitting can do the service, as opposed to someone who is impure, can't do the service. And here it means that everybody partakes of it, right, of the sin offering. Kol Rabbi Shar Kochim. Include others. Okay. Right. So 23. Kol chatas asher yuva midama, and any sin offering that you bring of its blood, el oyel mayid, to the tent of meeting, lechaper b'kodesh, to bring atonement in the holies, loisei achel ba'ish tisoret. Right. So in order to bring an atonement in the sanctuary, it should not be eaten. It must be burnt in a fire. So what's it talking about here? Kol chatas, Rashi says in 23, any sin offering, if it was brought from some of the blood of an exterior sin offering to the inside, psul, it's invalid. The holy rabbis shall kochim to include other holy offerings. In other words, here, if its blood was taken outside of the courtyard over here, then so then it's invalid. Right, you brought it in here and then it's invalid. It has to be done within the courtyard.
Someone slaughtering it?
The about the blood.
So how could that be possible? How is it possible for someone to have washed the blood?
Exactly. So slaughtered outside
Yeah, but how could they make the blood inside?
because it's bleeding.
I'm not clear how it got out. But it got out for however got out, it got out. And that's a problem. Okay, we're gonna have to stop here, unfortunately, because got delayed. Yeah. And I'll see you by Tanya in a few moments.